Hey there, everybody. Sometimes you just feel like shit. There's not a lot you can do about that. I mean, you can try to, you know, look at the positive side. You can try to think your way out of your pains and your gripes, but life is going to throw some shit at us, and that's just the way it is. So you're going to have moments where you're down, and I'm sure we're all pretty well aware of that. I've had a few of those moments lately over the past several months, especially because it's winter here in the Portland area. And when it's winter here, God, we don't get very much sunshine. I mean, just this little bit of sunshine coming through my corrugated roof I built here, which in most places people would build a roof that's like built with like shaded, corrugated plastic or something that's darker to keep the sun out. No way, I got absolutely crystal clear because every little drop of sunlight you can get out here matters. And in fact, I'm so unused to it that my eyes are like burning. But I wanted to talk about the way that, well, I wasn't really sure. When I started this video, I was just thinking about how much more positive I felt today than or the last few days. And one aspect of this that I should cover before I completely forget was that I've had a bit of a virus the last few days. I've had a cold. Very mild, nothing big, but I could just tell I was congested. Meanwhile, both of my kids got sick, or my two youngest kids got sick at the same time, and they've both been coughing and sniveling. And it's miserable when your kids are sick, and when your kids get sick, there's no way you can't get sick. The one thing about viruses that I've realized, and I don't know if others have noticed this as well, it seems like when you overcome a cold, it's like being reborn. It's like being renewed. It's almost like, well, it's very similar to a smaller version of coming out of after a long operation or sitting in a long hospital stay, or you break a bone and you're finally healed, get that damn cast off and you're like, yes, I can do stuff again. Dreaming and sleep, the way that we kind of renew ourselves and wake up. If you don't get enough sleep, you're going to be grumpy and you're going to be depressed and you're going to be anxious. So one of these major aspects of being anxious, it isn't always related to our life, our life circumstances, but rather our perceptions of the life that we have. And I know this because often my own episodes of, I guess, depression, if you will, which can never be compared to anyone else's because each one's unique, have been usually triggered by rather than something that happened to me or something I did, it's quite often something that I didn't do that I should have done. Such as, I need to get this done, that done, that done. All these pressures put upon us by society. And before I forget about the sleep thing, the reason why I brought that up was because you find that if you sleep, you're in a better mood. But if you're anxious, you can't sleep. And it's this kind of catch where it's this continual, horrendous cycle. One way to gauge whether you are depressed or anxious or whatnot is how well do you sleep? Can you get to sleep at a reasonable time? Do you wake up after, whatever it may be, 5 to 8 hours and you're good to go? Do you feel like you can't sleep, or do you sometimes feel like maybe you sleep too much because you want to escape? And the only time I will go back to bed if I wake up is when I feel like I haven't got enough, and I know I'm going to regret it later. And there were times when I wake up at 5 in the morning, rearing to go, and those are the days where I just kind of fade. So anyway, back to the bad days. We also have seasonal. Just like like I said, when you wake up, you have a renewed mood usually. It's just like coming out of a sickness and you have kind of a renewed appreciation for life. But there's something else there. Having a cold seems to make, I'm not sure, I haven't researched this in a while, but I was very curious a while back because I'm very familiar with the feeling of a serotonin buzz or rush, if you will. I've had my experiences with substances. So when I get a natural serotonin buzz, I start wondering what it is, why. And when I get sick, it seems that serotonin takes over. Now dopamine, of course, and serotonin, they have their own unique properties, but they work kind of, I'm not going to say in tandem because there's still a lot we don't know about it. But, hey, my crow friends. Hey, guy. I forgot this is why I don't do videos outside. I was trying to think, why haven't I done a video outside in a while? And it's usually because there's barking fucking dogs. There's nothing more annoying than barking dogs and fire trucks. But anyway, I tend to be rambling and getting off track here. I guess I'm not here with a solution to mood. I'm just kind of or how to feel better or be more positive, but rather it's unique to each person. Sometimes it just means we have to step forward. Sometimes it's like when we feel unmotivated, for example. We have to just take one step forward, and then we're going, and we're good to go. You look at a big project, and you're like, ah, and it can become even more depressing when you don't start on it because it's overwhelming. And sometimes you'll have a project you've been working on for a year or longer, maybe, and just never completed it. You start wondering, was that a waste of time? Then you start beating yourself up. Then you start questioning your path in life and your integrity and what you should be doing and what life's all about. And all of a sudden you're just like, oh, don't think too much. You just don't think too much, It's different from learning, Thinking and learning are different things. And it's really important to me to learn as much as I can in order to lead a more comfortable life. So, in other words, let's just take, for example, if I learn survival skills, that makes it easier when I'm camping, right? Or if I understand basic construction skills, that makes it easier when I have to repair something in my house. And I only say that because there's a lot of folks out there who think that knowledge is overrated, but and to a degree it is. It depends on what you study, I guess. But if you can utilize it in your life, it's a good thing. And I feel like the more we know, the less anxious we are. And this is a very important factor for me, is if you overthink things, you can cause yourself anxiety, and that can lead to depression. But if you have the faculties and the knowledge to, I don't know, draw a conclusion for an answer for something that you want to know, rather than just making up stories about it to fit whatever delusion you want it to be, or pretending that we understand, that often gets us into more trouble. And the more you learn, the more confident you are in what you know. And so I guess I get off track a little bit here, but I'm not talking about the kind of college knowledge, if you will. I'm not talking about intellectualism, and find that's some of the most dry, boring ass shit. People who use big words just because they can. I always try to speak with I don't know, in the layman terms, as they would say. I may know a bigger or better word for something, but do I have to impress you with it? No. What if there's a person who doesn't know the word? It omits people. But anyhow, what I'm getting at is having this basic understanding of principles and the knowledge that you can obtain to see the world for what it is and say, okay, I understand this, I understand that. I don't understand 100% of it. In fact, I don't believe I even understand a half of a 1% or a 0.01 of a 0.01% of the world in the bigger picture. I know the aspects that I am immersed in and the ones that I utilize, just like you do. So useless knowledge doesn't do us much good. But useful knowledge does, and I really think it helps us to lead a happier life. It allows us to see ourselves for who we are as best we can, and also realizing we can't ever really see ourselves completely. I don't know. Being a human, sometimes when I start a video and I think, God, this is cheesy, I can't define my points well, and I don't even know exactly what I'm going to say, and then I think, but I'm a fucking human. Who cares? I should just be grateful I can talk at all. That I can even pull a camera out and share my thoughts with the world, and so that's what I do. And I laugh at myself sometimes listening to myself speak. If I listen to one of my older videos, I'm like, okay, well, that's just me. It's just what I do, and it helps me to ease my own anxiety and depression to share. It's almost like counseling, in a way, if you will. We bounce ideas off the world, and often we don't like the answers that we get. Sometimes that's because we're wrong. Sometimes it's because the other person doesn't know us or they're wrong, but we have to decide that for ourselves, and I think that on a final note here, one of the biggest sources of depression, besides, as I'd said, our lifestyle choices, the drugs we use, how much we sleep, which friends we have or whether we have friends at all, and the mindset that we have. It's like, I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it at that. I kind of have a brain fart there, but I had a couple ideas I wanted to share. That's why I like to take notes, but it doesn't always allow me to really, I guess, flourish the way I want, and speak fluently, I guess, and just kind of flow with my thoughts. But sometimes I get into a kind of a dead end with it too, because like, how much can you say about it? Each person's unique. I'm just grateful to be alive and to be able to express myself. I'm grateful you're all here for the journey. So, peace out. Talk to you later. Be well.